tonight on Street Stories. It was the spot for art films, and then it fell on hard times. Now, someone's trying to make the Rialto ring out the sweet sound of success, trying to bring this once condemned building back to life.
Street life at the extreme, where surviving another day is a small victory. Homeless people tell us that Montrealers are colder than winter itself, and they say they'd rather be anywhere but here.
And too many cars and too few parking spots. One reason why this man is one of the most hated people in Montreal.
Bringing reality to your living room. These are the stories from the streets of Montreal. I'm Adam Bema.
And I'm Willie Lowry.
Those stories tonight on Street Stories.
It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
The Rialto Theatre has been a Montreal staple for generations. Once a great place to meet a friend, grab some popcorn, and catch an avant-garde French film. It played movies that were missed or dissed by big chain theaters. It was condemned a few years back, and until recently, it's been kind of an eyesore on Park Avenue. Alex Serbanescu has been checking out whether a grand old building might just get a new lease on life. Alex, tell us about it.
Well, Willie, I'm not sure I'd call it an eyesore. I mean, for us, it was pretty much love at first sight. As soon as we stepped in through those doors, it was like stepping back into the 1920s. It's very easy to be overwhelmed by the sheer size and beauty of the interior. And it's almost as if the theater was a living, breathing creature with its own spirit. And that's pretty much what we tried to illustrate with our short film. So enjoy.
Greetings. I am the Rialto, and it is my pleasure to invite you on a journey through time. We shall become well acquainted, perhaps even intimate, as together we explore the colorful tapestry of a life under the spotlight. I will make you wonder at the ever-changing hopes and dreams nourished by entertainers, owners, and businessmen on a scene in which I have remained the only constant. I am honored to welcome you to a special place. I am Rialto. I was born on December 27, 1924. At the time, I boasted the fanciest facade of all Montreal movie palaces, an elaborate work inspired by the Opéra de Paris. As for my interior, elaborate brocade, elegant lights, and princely murals would seduce the visitor who dared venture inside. Jean-Paul Dubé has been my dedicated manager since April of this year, when the new owner took over.
Well, I mean, we're renovating the upstairs balcony to accommodate up to 550 seats. We want to bring back cinema here in a big way. We want film to be as important as music, as important to dance. We're not hung up on any one kind of medium.
But today the tide is changing, and I am allowed to return to my more dignified self as a concert hall. Boy, this sure takes me back. Look at that conductor tapping his foot. That's my heartbeat right there. I give you Maestro Adam O'Callaghan.
This was pretty much the dream place from the beginning, one of the places that I passed by and thought this would be the place to do this series, and it just wasn't open. There was nothing happening here. It was a mystery. And I was living down the street and started to see some activity and some shows being booked and looking for employees, and I got curious and inquired, and they were very interested in what we were doing, so it's a match made in heaven.
As you can see, that old world charm never really went out of fashion. And for those who come asking, the Rialto is not in the business of disappointing. Why don't you ask that young devil of a dancer right there?
Very rare, especially big dance spaces. Usually we dance in dance studios, so you can fit in maybe 60, 80 people, and usually you don't have that much wood floor. So a lot of the spaces in Montreal, there's columns in the middle, so just having a nice view of the stage, of the musicians, and having a nice wood floor that slides is just priceless.
As night turns into day, I'm still here, looking over Park Avenue, as I've been doing for almost 90 years. This is my home, the Mile End. It's changed faces many times across the ages. When I came into this world, it was a prestigious area where well-to-do members of the bourgeoisie took up residence. Today, it is best known for its arts, which I dare say is a fortunate development.
You know, they're all moving here in droves because this is like the place to be. I don't think we could have, you know, picked a better location, and the Rialto just happens to be here. So it's magic, you know.
Still, an old thing such as myself barely fits in with today's Mile End. Surely I would have been torn down, lost in the sands of time, if not for the efforts of a conservation group called Heritage Montreal.
Rialto is a great piece of that, the streetscape of Park Avenue, and it's a great gem in terms of its integrity. It was not only the outside that was significant and important, but also the hall itself had kept most of its original decoration, the stained glass, the vaults, the painting, and so on. It was all there. And you know, losing it would have meant losing yet another piece of the great heritage of Montreal and its neighborhood. So it was not only for the Mile End that Heritage Montreal stepped in, but for the whole of the heritage of the city.
See that man over there sitting at the table? That's the new boss, Mr. Ezio Caroselli. Guided by his firm yet gentle hand, I dust myself off and enter a new age, wrapped in brand new lighting. Ushered in by the sound of the 21st century, I take to the stage once more to reclaim my rightful place.
Be really flexible, and hopefully we'll be busy enough that we can retain that flexibility.
This is what it's all about, isn't it? Mixing old with new. If I could sprinkle some of my fame onto young artists so that they too may rise, wouldn't that be swell?
We're adding an extra venue that is totally unique and much bigger, so they can graduate here.
People come and go, names are made and forgotten, yet I live on. The parts I must play may also change, but my spirit remains the same, in the form of a cherished memory or the distant din of instruments that are played no more. Perhaps as a fleeting shadow making its way across a dark balcony, or even a lonely ghost reminiscing about the past. Farewell, my new friend. I am sad to see you leave, but these old bones must rest and look their very best for when the lights come on. When the curtain comes up like a great dragon taking to the sky, when the orchestra awakens every creature of the night, and the dancers take to the floor like swans to water, I shall see you there.
He drives around the streets of Montreal all day long for one purpose: to hand out parking tickets. Buckle up and get ready to meet the man behind the meter. But first we turn to street life at its most extreme: homelessness. Whether it's sleeping on park benches or on city streets, these are the people you often forget about. But our reporter, Will Charbonneau, spoke with some of these people who call these mean streets home. So Will, what did they say?
Well, according to some of the homeless people I spoke with, Montreal is one of the least friendly cities in Canada, possibly the worst place to look for hope on World Homeless Day.
I've been right across Canada. I've been from Halifax to the Yukon, and I've never seen a city like this in my life.
So is Montreal the worst city to be homeless in?
Yes.
Cecil sounds almost matter-of-fact when he tells me that 5 years ago he was living with his wife and kid and was making $30 an hour as a machinist. He claims his work made him sick, and now he's on the streets suffering from lung cancer.
I remember when I was young, I used to laugh at homeless people and shit. I'll tell you right now, it's nothing to laugh about, because you can be one fucking step away from being homeless.
Tired of the city's attitude towards homeless people, Cecil wants nothing more than to get out of Montreal.
I want to get out of this city so bad. I was willing to work 2 weeks for 1 week pay just to get out of the city, just to leave. You know, I went to social services. I said, buy me a ticket anywheres in the country, get me out of this city, and they wouldn't do it.
I was curious, so I went out to see if others agree that Montreal is the worst place to be homeless in. It seems that a lot of homeless people I spoke with we'd rather sleep on a park bench than in a homeless shelter. They say that a lot of changes would have to be made to the shelters for them to consider using them.
Yeah, you got a curfew. You line up to take a shower. You're checked all the time. There's like, and you don't have any like freedom to be outside of their activities and their hours and their thing.
Because all the shelters are filled with people that have bed bugs and they smoke crack and they shoot heroin, and they all all the shelters you have to shower around a bunch of 40-year-old men like you're in jail, like you've done something wrong, and I don't really feel comfortable in that environment.
And some of the people I met still had some hope for something more than just a comfortable place to sleep.
To improve them would be basically not make them as like an emergency shelter and make them more along the lines of, the only phrase I could think of sadly is halfway house, but something where you can check into it as emergency beds in the winter as an emergency for it's just cold to sleep outside.
A resource that could help me out with everything rather than just a place to stay and something to eat, or just a computer. And someone just to hand me a book or a number off a computer, because that's all these shelters do is they do the obvious and then they get paid for all this extra stuff. I don't understand.
The Welcome Hall mission has been serving Montreal's homeless since 1892. It provides food and shelter for up to 200 people a day. Director Paul Reoni admits that problems do exist in shelters.
Are there bed bugs? Of course there are. There are some in your house. There's some in my house. Do they get a warm meal? Absolutely. Do they get some place to sleep? Yes. Do they have to shower in a gang shower? Yes, they do. But that's the reality. Can't change that.
Still, Paul Reoni maintains that a night in a shelter is better than a night on the streets.
You have to understand that the shelter is there to help everybody and to help the most we can. And I'm not even speaking about Welcome Home, I'm speaking about shelters in general. We try to help as many people as we can. Is it the most dignified way of doing it? Probably not. Is it dignified to sleep on a park bench? Probably not.
For the people I spoke to, homeless shelters are only the beginning of their problems in Montreal. They say the harsh Montreal winters are nothing compared to the icy way people here treat them.
It's bad enough being homeless, but when you're in a city as cold as Montreal is, and I mean it is cold here, and I don't mean as in weather-wise, I mean the people-wise, boy, it's even worse. It's even worse when somebody won't even say hi to you. That makes it even a longer day. A 24-hour day got 64 hours in it.
It's so hard to be homeless, man. It's so hard. Especially people don't know I have such a story when they look by me, walking by me. They don't know this. They don't know this. They just look at me like I'm some scum, like I do drugs,
As black as this particular cloud might seem, some homeless people still manage to see a silver lining. Ryan claims to have an apartment in Toronto but chooses to spend his winters homeless in Montreal.
Like if I'm out here and it's minus 30 degrees Celsius, the sky doesn't have a cloud in it and the sun is beating down strong and all that vitamin D makes you so happy. It might be minus 30, but the beautiful blue sky is so refreshing.
Mario says he's also on the street by choice. Tells me he stays here because good or bad, Montreal is his home.
So, in the sense, I haven't got much here, but I got what I need. And every day, I make what I need to make to keep going.